Dr. Mmatheo, you're welcome again.
Thank you, Lukuma. Thank you for this opportunity as we carry on this journey of self-discovery as an individual, but also the individual who sees self in the other, partaking with all the other who's our mirror reflection. When we spoke about Ubuntu, we highlighted that Ubuntu is about oneness, the deeper understanding that in oneness we exist and we're not different. When, as an individual, when we enter into this physical plane, we tend to think that as an individual, we separate from the rest of the other, whom we end up labeling the other. But in reality, we're part of the other because the other is the mirror reflection of self. So when we speak about Ubuntu, when we spoke about Ubuntu, it was reminding ourselves that we are the children of the law of one. In oneness, we exist. And beautifully said in Zulu language, isiZulu language, where it says, umuntu, gumuntu, ngabantu. And furthermore, in Setswana, ire, motu, kimotu, kabatu, babam. In English, it says, I am because we are, and because I am because you are, and because you are, I am. And in oneness, we exist. So there's no separation. So this morning, in this episode, we're going to weave collectively a beautiful tapestry where we still go back into remembering. And before we start, allow me, as I represent the masses, allow me as I see myself in the other who's me. Allow me as the one who has chosen to incarnate here on earth and be part of the earthlings, to pay homage to the Great Spirit, the Grand Master, the Grand Alchemist, and to the Great Goddess Mother, who's one with the supporter of the universe. The supporter of the universe is the Grand Master. Allow me to pay homage to the Great Goddess Mother. There's a saying that says, be a mother to the universe. Let's pause. Be a mother to the universe, meaning when you are a mother to the universe, you will understand that that which you have created needs to be nurtured and it needs to be protected. Because a mother will always protect and nurture that which she has created. But who's actually assisting the Great Mother in this creation is the Grand Master. Who's the Grand Master? Is the Great Spirit. There are many names attached to that Great Spirit. Some they call that Great Spirit God. I prefer to say the Great Spirit, the Grand Master, the Grand Alchemist, who's supporting the Great Goddess of creation. The Great Goddess of creation is both the creator with the ability to nurture and protect and with the ability to destroy, supported by the Grand Master. She's the primordial energy from which everything has actually originated, supported again by the Grand Master. That primordial energy is the indomitable power that has created everything, and it continues to create, preserve, transform, since we energy, because energy cannot be destroyed. The law of transmutation kicks in. Energy can only be transmuted from one state to another state of being. The Great Goddess Mother, who's one with the Grand Master, the supporter of the universe. She's the womb that has birthed all, and the womb she's the womb that has birthed all, and is the same womb capable of swallowing all. That's the statement, not even a statement. I feel within me propelled during this time this period of Aquarian age under the guardianship of the water bearer, where we are awakening to pay homage to the Grand Master, the Grand Alchemist, and the great goddess of creation. Because we are who we are, birthed from the womb of the Great Mother. But the Great Mother is under the support of the Grand Master, the Alchemist. So I'm going to just read from my book, because a question that could arise will be, who's this Grand Master? Who's this Alchemist? Who's actually supporting the great goddess of creation? From my book, they are knowable, though indescribable, though unthinkable, though unrealizable, can become known at a given time. Lao Tzu, the Taoist sage, an older contemporary of Confucius, came and went like the wind. Like all of us, we come and we go. We shed off this physical body. Lao Tzu lived with the cosmos and honored and understood the mystical power of the Grand Master, the mystical power of the Grand Master who is supporting the great goddess of creation. And understanding that mystical power, wrote and left a writing for us to also pause and connect with that writing. I quote from Lao Tzu, which is in my book, and he writes, looking and not seeing it, we call it invisible. Listening and not hearing it, we call it ethereal. These three aspects of the Grand Master cannot be grasped. But they contribute to the one. But who's the one? Is the Grand Master who supports the great goddess of creation. Its rising of the Grand Master, the Master Alchemist, brings no dawn. Its setting brings no darkness. It goes on and on and on like a song on replay mode. And yet it's unnameable. Returning into nothingness, its form is formless. Its image is invisible. Meeting it, you cannot see its face if you're using your physical eyes. But yet, following it, you cannot see its back. I've always said, just because we cannot perceive things that are formless, it doesn't mean they do not exist. The Grand Master, the indescribable, the unthinkable, the unrealizable can make itself known at a given time. We are in an era where the Grand Master, the Master Alchemist, who's supporting the great goddess of creation, is making self known. The religions of the world have tried to label the Grand Master, have tried to use different names, weakness of humans. Just because we label things, we tend to think because it's labeled and we've given it a name, it's that what we think we have named it. Labeling and naming things doesn't actually make it what we label it. There are many names attached to the Grand Master. There are many names attached to the great goddess of creation. It's names. It's good to have names. Just like my name is Mmatheo, but it doesn't mean I'm that which I'm being named. I'm beyond that.
Yeah, that is very, very interesting. Very good as well for most people to understand. It's very plain. It's not so much of mistakes. It's very plain and simple, very clear to understand. And I guess most people know, they know this concept, but it's just that we're so distracted with a lot of the our society norms. So we tend to not uh, kind of like realize that so much. So I guess that was very simple for anybody to understand actually. And it's just tells you how also if you really listen closely, you understand that at the end of everything, there's always uh, polarity. There's always um, opposite of everything. So that also answers some people's questions about creation and why am I here? Who is God? Who is what? So because we grow up, I mean, we've been conditioned, our society has been conditioned to think of God as the only, the only the only powerful one that is, that which is not in anything that concern the universe. Is like God is outside of the universe, is outside of everything, and is the only one male and entity that rules everything. But now, when you listen to this, it actually tells you that God is not that only pay. It's not that uh, male father or grandfather sitting somewhere there, but it's
Mm.
just the totality of everything that makes the whole universe standing. So it's that understanding that will make you uh, get on that journey um, of realizing your purpose in life. So it's very important to listen closely and also, as I always encourage, do research, read a lot because by visiting various sources and listening to other people as well, it actually helps you to open your mind and understand
Mm.
this whole knowledge of self. So it's very important that that was a very good piece of information. And if you don't understand it much, stick around as we're unpacking, as we're explaining, and you will come to a great understanding and it's going to sit well with you.
Thank you, Lukumo. Let me expand on our gender, and I'll use myself and Lukumo. It's beautiful that gender-wise, I choose to manifest during this lifetime as a female African, and Lukumo chose to be a male. That's just, gender was purposefully designed by the Creator for the propagation of the human race so that we reproduce and we balance the score here and on Earth, and the human race carries on. But in a true sense of the word, though gender anatomically will say you are a female, within you, you have both the masculine energy and the feminine, which means our true state of being is androgynous. Androgynous, not in anatomical structure, where you'll have both sex structures in you. It means androgynous in spirit, meaning you have in you the masculine and you have the feminine. The design and the plan and the system that feeds the status of this world, creation of man. By the way, there are many worlds out there. This is not, I'm talking about many worlds. But now let's come to these three worlds that is operating in 3D, three dimension, okay? There are many worlds beyond 3D and below 3D. We have, I'll speak about 9 dimensions. So I'm saying 3D. 3D is where everything that you touch, you think it is, it is. Because you see it, you feel it, you sense it. And if you studied physics, it's about length times breadth times height. Because anatomy, you can measure it scientifically, you think it is what you see. Yes, what you see is a projection. It could be projecting from 4D, which is beyond 3D. It could be projecting from 5D, 6D, 7D, 9D. 9D is when you now speak about 9D, you're speaking about the Milky Way. Those who have studied astronomy, geography, and those who are reading, they know the Milky Way. Milky Way is a portal that allows you to enter our galaxy. It's in 9D. Beyond Milky Way, you pass into the other galaxies. So our galaxy is not the only galaxy, but you can travel up to 9D if you're able to astral travel, and you can cross over to the other. But if you cross over, the chances of you coming back into Earth, they are very minimal. It's good to cross over if you have finished your mandate. You haven't finished your mandate, you'll still be here. Like most of us, I'm still here because we all have work to do here on Earth. So 3D, length, if you can measure length times breadth times height, it's 3D. But beyond 3D, you cannot actually measure. It's not about measurement. It's about tapping into your intuition. So physically, as a female gender, when you look at me, I'm a female. But at the core of my being, as a spirit, I'm neither female and I'm neither male. I'm androgynous. When I say androgynous, I'm saying in me, I contain both the masculine and the feminine energies that needs to be harmonized for the functioning, optimal functioning of this being beyond the physical. It doesn't only apply to me, it applies to all of us, but then you need to awaken. And in order to awaken, you need to empty yourself from how the society has programmed you. A female must behave like this. A male must behave like this. This is for the female. This is for the male. Come out of that mindset, because when you know you are androgynous and in you, you contain both the masculine and the feminine, there's nothing that can hinder you from fulfilling your sacred mandate and living your life to the fullest as a being that is fully equipped and engineered with both masculine and feminine energy to execute the mandate. So that's what I wanted to bring up across, that people, when you limit yourself that gender, I'm a female, okay, and then the male is required to complement me, you're making a mistake, because in you, you already have the masculine energy, which can balance the feminine aspect of your being. The coming together of the masculine, of the male species, male in gender, and the female in gender during copulation, basically, it was just engineered to make sure that the human race carries on. Propagation, the balancing of the human race, which is a creative act. And I want to say that if you can create your own kind, you're able and capable to even create, not only producing species of your own kind, you're able to tap into that creative faculty as a being in themselves, having the androgynous energy balance, the masculine and the feminine. I'll speak about Tesla. I'll speak about Albert Einstein. People who've created, tapping into their androgynous being. People who've created, tapping into their sexual energy, which we call the Kundalini. Sexual energy is not only to bring species, increase the number of species here on Earth. You can utilize it once you've awakened for other creative ventures, and even creating that which is formless, bringing it into form, and even creating in another dimension beyond this one that we're currently living in. So that's what I wanted to highlight. And when I speak about the Grandmaster, who's one with the goddess of creation. The goddess of creation, just like in Hinduism, I'll just make one a religion that incorporates the Great Mother. In Hinduism, they will tell you that there is no Shiva without Shakti. There is no Shakti without Shiva. Let me elaborate. There is no masculine without the feminine energy. There is no feminine without the masculine in you, beyond gender. So in you, you have that harmonious dance where if you look at the feminine as the moon and you look at the masculine as the sun, in you, they are forever on this harmonious dance. You need both energies functioning in harmony to be creative. You need the balancing of your masculine balancing with the feminine, and the feminine balancing with the masculine. If the world that we live in, which for a long time has been under patriarchy, which suppressed the era of the goddess, which was more of balancing both masculine and feminine, the rising of patriarchy rose at the expense of the suppression of the pagan, so-called pagan worship, who were actually more on promoting, honoring the creator goddess mother. So if we can go back and understand that one cannot exist without the other. The feminine energy needs the masculine needs the feminine. We'll understand that balancing of everything, it's not balancing or claiming that you'll create the world. It starts within. When you can come into the realization and the understanding that in you, you are androgynous, and you awaken that you need to honor both energies, the masculine and the feminine. The masculine and the feminine that are existing within you. Then you'll realize that this gender of being a female is just gender in the physical. Being a male is just gender. So the male doesn't have more power and authority over the female species just because patriarchy has made us to believe that we all equal, because in us, you have both the masculine and the feminine. And if you function from your state of androgyny, you'll understand that in you, you're well-equipped, engineered in this body to be able to pull on your resources. If you need to pull from your masculine energy, you're able to pull from that. If you're able to pull from your feminine aspect, you're able to pull from that. But at the end of the day, it's about creating a balance and not allowing one to rise at the expense of the other or oppressing the other, so that the competition, it's all about balance and equality. So to bring more the message home, allow me to share how was this energy perceived by the people of Bantu. I said people means here in Africa, Bantu means people, and people in Bantu means those who, the children of the Great Mother, who in this case we can call Ntu. So allow me to narrate and read without putting my words into it, the epic of the creator goddess, whom I will call Ma. Why Ma? Because everybody out there, they will say Isis, they will say, there are so many names attached to the Great Mother. So if I were to list all the names, I might offend others and say that was not mentioned. There's another name they call Mami Wata in Africa, meaning mother of the waters. So I can relate to Mami Wata, and I can relate to other names that are in Hinduism. It's about the Shakti, it's about the primordial energy that births all, the power, that without that power, all that needs to manifest in form cannot come into being. So everything needs a generator and The great mother is the generator, but supported by the grandmaster to birth all. So let's ask the children.
Yeah, I also just want to clarify something before we move on to that. Uh, this is a very sensitive point, especially in regards to our society today and how we living our lives here on earth. This is not to say that this does not give you the freedom to um the best word I can use is to rebel. This does not give you the freedom to rebel against nature, because now we have um they I just hear it out there, people are being born in the wrong body and trying to be a male in a female body, or trying to be a female in a male body. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you choose to do that. And I'm also not against any of that. But just to clarify on the fact that we have different mandates, nature has done what is, right for it, for the environment, for us to sustain ourselves, for us to live according to nature. Having said that, we have, we have both energies in us. That is on the spiritual level. That is on the highest level. That is on the very highest level. You know, you cannot then allow yourself to compromise, you know, um your physical ability, or trying to change it in a way that you feel like, okay, after all, I have both energies and blah blah blah, and I choose to do this and this and that. Okay, fine. But then on the other side, we out of the social construct, out of whatever they taught us, because I still believe that our social construct has been built, to diminish the woman, to always pull down the woman, to always, crush the woman down and make them feel, less and things like that. I still believe it's something that we really need to fight, and we have to change that. We are equal, but then physically, when we come here down here, when nature send us down here, it's for a purpose. It still comes down to polarity. We need both aspect in order for us to move forward. But in us, we have that energy. We can do whatever that's we need, mentally, spiritually, and you know, um, push ourselves to the limit. You don't need the other person, or I mean, the other gender to do a specific thing for you based on, on your spiritual level, on not spiritual level, but on the very highest and deepest level. You can recognize that you have that aspect. You can use it. You don't have to own it while we're here, while we have mandate, while we have a purpose. And I believe, always believe that nature does not do anything for no reason. There's no wrong, there's
Mm.
no mistake, there's no error. So when I have a male body, that means nature gave me a task to do with my male body, but nature does not take my female aspect. I still have it in me.
Mm.
I can use it when it's convenient. I'll use it when it's necessary, but it does not give me the access or the reason to, to break that reason why I have a male body, So it's totally it's something that we really have to learn it and sit with it very carefully, to examine really carefully, deeply, and then we can live our life accordingly, so that we don't crash or uh kind of glitch the um purpose of why we're here. So it's very important to understand that you can be whatever you want to be, but keep in mind you have an instrument. This is an instrument. My body is just an
Mm.
instrument. This is not me. I have this instrument to use it for its purpose. I cannot play guitar. I cannot play drum in a guitar. That's not the use of it. So the same with us. I cannot use my male body to do female things. because this is what is assigned on this dimension. But on the highest level, I know I can tap into that and I'm free to do that. So just to clarify on that, you know, because it's very important to be very, very specific when we talk about this such topic so that people can understand, because most people don't know, they don't have prerequisite information. So whatever that comes in, they just take it and then, oh, this and that. So it's just it's also to encourage you to do research and read more, because then this everything that we're saying, you really need prerequisite information for you to get to this point where we are. So that's very important.
Okay, when we say, just to reinforce, when we say we are a spirit that has chosen to experiment and experience life in form, as a physical, in form, which means in a physical body, which means it's a spirit, and a spirit doesn't have gender. The spirit is neither male nor female. That's what I understand about the spirit. And that's not only what I understand, that's what I know. And that's what I know about being a spirit that in spirit, when I see my being in spirit, I'm neither male nor female, which means I'm both. So when I say I'm neither male nor female, I'm not talking about gender. Let me be specific. I'm not talking about the anatomical structures that are used to define a female, because of the female defined because you have a yoni, a vagina, and a male, you have a phallus. I'm not talking about that. That is just designed for the propagation of the human race or multiplication of the species here on Earth. In spirit, spirit doesn't have, is not defined based on the anatomical structures that comes with our physical form. Spirit is neither male nor female, neither male nor female. I will say it's gender free, but it contains both. So when I talk about the masculine energy, to even make it clear, let's attach the masculine energy with, take it that electricity. Masculine energy, we can give that the positive pole, and then the feminine energy, the negative. In electricity, you need a positive and a negative to produce electricity. Furthermore, you need fire, which fire could be the masculine energy, and water, which could be the feminine, to produce electricity. Those who came up with electricity, they had that thought in mind. So we're speaking at a higher level of our state of being as androgynous being in spirit, neither male nor female, but containing both, that needs to be balanced. So beyond our anatomical gender that we choose to manifest in, it transcends that, but we stuck in the current gender that we've chosen to manifest. We need to actually rise and realize that beyond this gender, we're bigger than that, and we're not stuck in this gender. Okay, as we continue with our journey of self-knowing and remembering what makes our true essence, allow me to read the epic of the creator goddess mother, I will call Ma, derived from oral traditional of Bantu, documented by Baba Credo Motwa in Indaba, My Children. So it's the sacred story of the Grandmaster and the great goddess of creation. So it's how everything came into being. So no stars were there, no sun, neither there was moon nor earth. Nothing existed but only darkness itself. Darkness everywhere. And nothing existed but nothingness. And nothingness, which was neither hot nor cold. There was no death, there was nothing alive. a nothingness far worse than nothingness itself. A frightening as it is in its utter nothingness. And nothingness had been floating. For how long was this nothingness floating? Nobody knows. Nothingness was floating upon the invisible waters of time. That mighty river we call time. That mighty river which neither has a beginning nor an end. Time. That mighty river with neither a source nor mouth. Then one day, or should we say one day? Maybe it's not even appropriate to say one day, because time, the river of time, neither has a beginning nor an end. One day is the creation of man. If you can say one day, then you'll say someday, then you'll say another day. We should just be saying, during in that river of time. The river of time desired nothingness. Because the river of time, what it only knew then was nothingness. So it desired nothingness now. Just like flesh and blood, male beast desires a female partner. And because of this strong attraction, the mating took place of time and nothingness. A most tiny, small, invisible spark of a living fire was born. Science will tell you about the Big Bang. Bantu calls it that spark of fire. This tiny spark, it was so tiny, spark of fire, it could think, and it grew conscious of its lonely state. No one, no nothing could hear its cries. Remember, it was just itself. In the lonely depth of utter nothingness, in that darkness, it felt lost and it was in despair. It was cold and dark in that darkness, in that place where it found itself to be. Because it could think, deep thoughts pulsated at its core being. And the words, if we were to put it into words, it will be words that manifested in its thoughts. I exist, and because I exist, I am what I am. Let's go back to oneness and Ubuntu. I am because you are, and because you are, I am, and in oneness we exist. Drive back through the river of time. Where does that come from? The spark of fire said, I exist, and I am what I am. This was the living thought that passed through the mind of the tiny spark as it wildly flew through the dark, trying to flee from where there was nowhere to escape to. We are in an era of Aquarian. There is so much that is happening. Media is feeding us with the notion that there's chaos. But let's remember that chaos precedes order. Even when creation came into being, everything was chaotic. And it's the order that we see today, which is now turning over into chaos, so that something precious, valuable, could be born from that chaos. And are we going to be cowards and flee from this chaotic, from all that is happening, and be fearful because we think this is the end of everything? For every end, there's a beginning. For every distraction, you cannot destroy energy. Energy can only transmute from one state of being to another. So that which we perceiving that it's being destroyed, it's been transmuted to its higher level of vibration. So the tiny spark was trying to evade the lifeless, the empty, the dark, and the utter nothingness. I think we can relate to what we're going through at this moment. Most people feel everything is chaotic, it's dark, there's no life, there's utter darkness, inflation, petrol, food. You know, there's so much to cry about. Maybe while we cry, it's good to cry, I cry. But after crying, I laugh because I realize that crying can turn into laughter. Then I laugh and I laugh and I laugh because I realize that which is perceived to be destroyed, it's giving way to that which is precious, of highest vibration and purity. So I laugh. I cry and I laugh. It's a dance. It's a joy. So this tiny spark, it was in this, you know, imagine a cave. We are in South Africa. Let's imagine a cave. Let's imagine that this tiny spark was in Drakensberg. Or let's imagine this tiny spark was in Table Mountain. I've been in some of the caves in Table Mountain. I haven't visited any in Drakensberg. I've been to others in other places. But let's imagine when you are in a cave, how dark it is. You don't see anything. You can only see the light that you are emitting from yourself, if you are emitting light. Then this tiny spark realized there's nowhere to run to. Let's bring the message home. In the midst of inflation, chaos, and wars, there's nowhere to run to. It's not greener on the other side. It was never greener on the other side. It's greener where you water your garden. Start watering your garden and you'll see it's greener at home than where you think you run into, because there's nowhere to run to. So this spark was conscious. Then it realized that I must either grow or end my life. I think most of us, we've gone through those thoughts. You either ride with the wave of time and embrace change, or end your life. Which one are you going to choose? The spark thought for a long period. And then it realized that, you know, in this space that I find myself in with nothingness, nothingness will eventually engulf me as the spark. So if nothingness wishes to engulf me, that was the spark saying, if nothingness wishes to engulf me, it will do so without even struggling, because I'm just a spark. So I need to do something about it. Let's bring the message home. Are we going to allow ourselves to be engulfed by the situation that is running rampant? Or we're going to look within ourselves, reclaim the power that lies within, and rise as a spark of light. And then the spark said, in my present state, in my present size and state, it will be easy for nothingness to engulf me. But then I must increase my size so that I'm equal to nothingness. There was nothing for the spark to feed upon and grow. Just like us, there's nothing to feed on. Petrol is going high. Food is growing, everything, inflation. The economy is not doing well according to media. We are being told, by the way, fed by media, that chaos is beyond us surviving. Are we going to be fed by that which we are being told by media? Or are we going to look within ourselves and feed upon our indomitable power and reclaim that power and feed, so that we rise and feed this light, this spark of light within ourselves? So the spark of light, it fed upon itself. It grew in size until at last its mother, I love this piece, its mother, nothingness, who is territorial, who was dominating the arena, who everybody must bow to, who everybody must listen to, because nothingness, having existed by itself, was considering that nothing which nothingness has not declared to be worthy to or coexist with it must not exist. So it grew in size, the spark. And until at last its mother, nothingness, became aware of its unwelcome presence. How many of us, we feel that this lonely planet Earth, we are black sheep, we feel unwelcome, we feel that we must toe the line, so we are told, so that we must belong to this lonely planet. We must do as we are told, toe the line. I'm not saying people must rebel. I'm not saying you don't rebel. You reclaim your power. You know thyself as a spark of light. You feed upon yourself and you grow and you increase in size. And you become that, not only a spark, you become a beacon of light and illuminate all. You reveal all. And darkness has got no power over you. Instead, darkness will join you in a harmonious dance. You'll dance with darkness. If there's a devil out there, you'll share the love mat with the devil, because no, you are not scared of the devil if there's a devil. If there's anything which is out there to make you scared, and you realize that you are not driven by fear, false evidence appearing real, you are driven by love, you will attract all, and all will join you in the love mat. And instead of being an enemy, it will be your ally and you'll be empowered. So it grew. And then nothingness realized that it doesn't want this spark. Then it tried all kinds to destroy, to divide, to engulf, to submerge this, to do whatever it tried. Firstly, nothingness said, it's pure darkness here. This spark is so tiny. So if I push it to that corner, let's imagine in Table Mountain, because I can relate to the caves there. Let's push it to that corner, at the corner, and leave it at that corner. It won't increase in size. But the spark had willpower to survive. You know, willpower to survive? That's what's going to carry us forward during this era that we're going through, of shedding the old to embrace the new. Willpower will take us forward. Nobody else. Willpower will, self-will. So the spark being pushed at the back and the nothingness making it feel that it's not welcome, the spark resisted and became brighter and brighter and brighter. And then nothingness was so pissed off, like everything else, when it realized that you're actually not surrendering to defeat. Nothingness then cast a spell of cold upon the spark. A cold that was so deadly that because the spark was emitting heat, nothingness said, if I cast a spell of cold, it will extinguish this spark of light. Because cold and heat, if cold is more than heat, it will destroy the other. But the spark understood that the law of transmutation, you cannot destroy energy. You can only transmute it from one level to the next level. The law of transmutation says energy cannot be destroyed. So are we. We cannot be destroyed as beings of energy. It's only the physical, which is the dense part of energy. You can transmit thyself from low vibration to a high vibration. So the spark of light knew that, knew physics, knew the law of the universe. So the spark of light, that spark, decided with more cold, it decided to feed on that cold, and it grew bigger and bigger and hotter. So you can understand, as it was becoming hotter and hotter, what happens to cold. The living spark grew and grew until it was equal in size to nothingness. And to sustain itself for further growth, because now it was equal in size to nothingness. It was like the two giants standing together. It devoured its mother, nothingness. and it digested her with that an awful flash of light that anyone or anything has ever seen. And it stood because it was full. And then it realized that it has self-created itself. And it said, I am what I am. Going back to Ubuntu, I am because you are. And because you are, I am. And in oneness, it exists. So the story here, when it devoured nothingness, nothingness meshed with it and became one. And when they became one, that which was meant to destroy it meshed with it and became that which empowered it. There are no enemies out there unless you so desire to label them as such. It will be an enemy. If you label it, it's an enemy, it will be an enemy. But if you choose to label that which you consider an enemy to be a catalyst that will prompt you to work towards raising your vibration so that it merges with you and you are empowered, that which is meant to be your enemy to destroy you will be your ally, and it will be that which is going to help you. So the river of time, that was what happened, how everything came into being, the merging. So I just want to, for now, pause there so that we relate to that. That when you go out there and you say, I've got enemies, yes, you do have enemies because you have chosen to label them as such. And because you see them as your enemies, you will act accordingly in a manner that befits how you think an enemy should be treated. But you can also choose otherwise. That which is meant to be your enemy, vibrating at a lower frequency. You can feed and go within and feed and raise your vibration to an extent that the enemy, if the enemy was superior to you, you are on the same scale with the enemy, you are on par. That which you fear should not be a source of anger and frustration for you to destroy. That you think you fear, it should serve as a catalyst for you to go within and self-create and empower yourself so that that which was meant to be your enemy must be your ally. And it serves towards your self-empowerment. And you harness. It makes you to focus in harnessing your creative energies and raising your frequency. Because in this physical plane, in this red race, you will meet opposition. You will meet challenges. But when you label them enemy, there will be enemy. And you've already given them the upper hand because you've labeled them enemy, so they've got the power to destroy you. But when you realize that, oh, okay, we are in opposition, but that which opposes me doesn't have to oppose me. It could be, it can serve as a catalyst to go within myself and raise and realize that I am that. I'm the self-created one. I'm the beacon of light. And I dance with both light and darkness. So whether you are thrown in the darkness, you can still rise as a spark of light. And when you are in the light, you also pay tribute to the darkness, because how will you know yourself as light if you don't see yourself as a shadow in the darkness? You embrace the harmonious dance of, in me, there's light, and so there's also darkness. And the two should not be at loggerheads. The two should work towards saving and empowering self. So enemy is that which you choose to label as enemy. Because you choose to label it as enemy, it will act as such. And because you put it on a pedestal, You put it on a pedestal and say it's enemy. It will do what befits its pedestal and treat you in a manner that you have actually given it that mandate. So an enemy can be a friend if you so wish, and an enemy can be an ally, and an enemy can be a catalyst that makes you to focus within you.
Yeah. So if you listen carefully, if you really, really were listening, um, which you should be, which you should be doing, and so it's you understand how this or our how ourselves we kind of confused ourselves. We created a lot of regulations and things and norms and things like that. We created all of that ourselves. But then listening to this and coming to this understanding, you see that we confused ourselves. We actually created what we call what we think has, based on this current time, what we think chaos is happening and things like that. We are the cause of that. We cannot take ourselves out of it. And we can't blame others. We can't just blame the leaders. We can't just blame whoever we think we should blame, but it's all because we are in this together. It's a collective consciousness. So we kind of created a lot of things to go against our own words and against our own ways of living. And we also have to be careful on how the our institutions kind of you know go against us. You know, there's a lot of trickery. There's a lot of traps and influences, based on anything. We kind of like, you know, trying to do certain things and push certain agendas without knowing that it's going against us, but then we get lost in that thing again. So just to say that uh, going back to your spiritual understanding, it's very important. That's where you should start. Forget about here, forget about the three dimension. Start first from your spiritual level and then comes down. There's order. That's the order from the top to the bottom. Can't start from your
Yes.
feet to the head. So getting to that understanding will now make you so powerful, and you won't be in that situation of being a victim, of marching for your right, of doing for this and legalizing this. I want to be this, and people don't want me to be this. Once you come to that understanding, then you understand that this all these things are distraction. I mean, I'm
Mm.
powerful. I'm all that is. I have all aspect in me, and why do I need anybody to validate it? Why do I need to shout and scream to people or anyone to validate or accept me? So it just got we getting lost in everything ourselves. It's very important to go back to spiritual understanding of this particular understanding. And for me, what we should focus the most is to to break this whole stereotype mindset, you know, and from doing that, we'll be able to advance more quicker and to actually fulfill the mission of the collective on this dimension. And there's a reason why we're still here. There's a reason why we're still stuck in this dimension.
Mm.
The earth has transcended a long time ago. Long time we've seen signs and we've seen things, and we are left behind because of what we're doing to ourselves. We are so much distracted. There's like literally there's, if not 99, 98% of everybody of our society are still in the confusion, are still in the dark. So there's only that 2% trying hard enough to awaken the 99. And it's gonna be very hard if the 99 don't realize that there's a 2% that are fighting for the right thing. So it's very hard for the 2% because the 99 is still it's still deep in the darkness of the social construct and you know crying and this and this and that. So the mission of the two of the 2% is this what we're doing now? This is what we're doing. We're trying to awaken you. We're trying to give you information. We're trying to, and there are certain things that we cannot say because the platforms does not allow, that information to come out. Otherwise, this video won't be accepted on the platform. So we're still restricted. That's why it's very important to have groups and private group get in touch with private groups and things like that, or if you know a spiritual healer or teacher and things like that, it's very important to try your best to come in contact with those people because it's priceless. You won't find it anywhere else. It's very priceless. So it's to encourage you. This is the age of Aquarius. We're standing against everything that does not serve us. We are waking up and we are fighting for the right thing, and because we are the 2% is fed up. We also stuck here because of the 99. We have to do what we can to free everybody, and then we can move on. So let's not be distracted with everything that is happening now, the social construct and things like that. We need to be these women need to do this. They have to. There's just certain kind of jobs on and work and things that women should do and that should not do and things like that. Those are all things that we created ourselves. We're confusing ourselves, and it's just getting us into that deep darkness. So, and we are, first of all, as well, we need to realize that um, the creation, the spark of everything. I mean, males, my fellow males are out there. We just need to accept it. Woman was here first. The mother was here first. The nurturer was here first. So that is nature. That's nature decided to do that for a reason. And it's not for us to hate or to stand against or to do whatever. It just um the levels and order of everything of nature. So it's very important to understand that it's gonna make us powerful. When you understand that, you thinking that you're gonna be less powerful by doing this and that, but knowing this, it's gonna make you powerful. That is your power. Understanding that, that's your power. So it's very important. I understood that. That's why I'm powerful. I'm very powerful because I understand that, and I study nature, study myself. Once you study nature, you studying yourself, so you know who you are from the deepest level. It's very important.
I just want to add on what Lukumo has said when he says, I am powerful, not according to the standard of this world. This world, when they talk about power, they mean force. We're not talking force. We're not talking about imposing your will on others. We're not talking about playing the tactics that you play so that you induce fear, false evidence appearing real. When we talk about power, we talk about the indomitable power, the power that lies within. It's non-equivalent to worldly power, which is actually created by humans playing their tactics. We're not talking about mere human power. We talk about universal power. Once you awaken to universal power, you know that you are a God yourself. Then you know where your power lies, and you know that it lies within. And you will nurture and you will cherish and you will honor that power because it's your divine right. It's your divine heritage. And you won't crave for worldly power because it comes and goes, and there's a price tag to it, and a bloody one.
Yes, awesome. So I think for now we will wrap it up for from here, and this was a powerful episode, and there's still more powerful that are coming, obviously. So just stay tuned and stay alerted. Keep researching, keep reading, keep on meditating, keep on going within, keep on searching for the power that lies within, you know,
Yes.
and continue to fight for what is right. Continue to recognize your mission. Continue to serve others based on Ubuntu. Continue to serve others based on your mission. Don't submit, don't be a slave, but serve. Service to others comes back to you. That's the law of nature. You know, you put
Yes.
what you put out is what's gonna come back to you. So let's do that. Let's continue to bring light. Let's continue to bring comfort. Let's continue to encourage and research and stand against what is not serving us. From that being said, Dr. Matteo, do you have any last word before we close?
Yes. In closing, Lukumo, I call Lukumo my son. Lukumo said, Lukumo said, is the great mother who is supported by the Grandmaster Spirit, who came first. And in closing, once more, let me read from my book. And in honor of the great goddess mother, let the words of wisdom from the Persian mystic and poet Rumi. Also, okay, I'm not going to speak about the other name of Rumi. Okay, let the words of Rumi, as I read, let's all connect and remember that which we say about the Grandmaster and the great goddess of creation, it's that which is within us. We are star beings. Not only we are star beings, some they say we are stardust. So we are star beings. So maybe if every time in the evening when you look at the star, you'll realize that part of your being is there in one of the galaxies, in one of the stars, in one of the constellations. So I will read the poem of Rumi. You come to us from the other world, from beyond the stars and the void of space, transcendent, pure of unimaginable beauty, bringing with you the essence of love. You transform all who are touched by you. Mundane concerns, trouble, and sorrow dissolve in your presence, bringing joy to the ruler and the ruled, to the peasant and the king. You bewilder us with your grace. All evils transform into goodness. You are the master alchemist. Light the fire of love in the earth and sky, in the heart and soul of every being. Through your loving existence and non-existence, merge all opposite, let all merge, all opposite, let them unite. All that is profane, let it become sacred. So let us remember who we are. Let us see ourselves through the eyes of the great mother, who's supported by the Grandmaster. Let us adopt that which we have been taught in antiquity by the great goddess mother. Let us be a mother to the world. When you are mother to the world, you will understand that that which you've created, you will nurture and you will protect. And you will do that because you are one with nature.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. That is very powerful. And please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to interact with the video. And we will come back again as this is a weekly episode. We'll come back again. And for those of you who come every time and every week, thank you so much. And for new viewers, thank you. We welcome you to this great journey. And please subscribe. And again, I emphasize subscribe because then when the video is up, then you get notified. You don't have to miss on anything. So thank you so much for coming and supporting and interacting with the content. We will see you again on the next one. And keep well. Remember, you are so powerful. There's nothing that's stopping you. There's nothing that can limit you. Don't think of your power based on the word construct. Don't put your power in the box. You are beyond that. So keep going forward and keep your power moving.